Hello everyone and welcome to Mr. English Lab. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are happy to have you here. Before we start, please remember to subscribe to the channel so you can receive useful and simple English tips every day. Learning a little English each day can help you improve step by step. Today, we are going to talk about the new year and how people celebrate it in different ways around the world. The new year is a special time for many people. It is a moment when one year ends and a new one begins. People often feel excited, hopeful, and thoughtful during this time. First, think about these questions. How do you usually celebrate the new year? Do you like going to big parties with loud music, bright lights, and many people around you? Or do you prefer staying at home with your close family or friends? Some people enjoy exciting celebrations full of energy, while others prefer quiet and peaceful moments. There is no right or wrong way to celebrate. Everyone chooses what makes them feel happy and comfortable. Have you ever made New Year's resolutions? A New Year's resolution is a promise people make to themselves at the beginning of the year. Many people decide to change something in their lives. For example, they may want to be healthier, learn something new, or become more organized. But an important question is this: did you keep your resolutions, or did you forget them after some time? This happens to many people, and it is completely normal. These questions help us understand how different people welcome a new year. The new year is not just about celebrations. It is also a time filled with traditions, memories, and personal thoughts. In many English-speaking countries, people celebrate with fireworks, parties, and special food. Families and friends often come together. They talk, laugh, eat meals together, and share their hopes and wishes for the coming year. For many people, the new year is a time of happiness, love, and togetherness. However, the new year is not only about fun and celebration. It is also a time for reflection. Reflection means thinking about the past year and what you learned from it. People think about their experiences, their successes, and their mistakes. Some people feel proud of what they achieved, while others think about what they want to improve. This kind of thinking helps people grow and become better versions of themselves. When talking about the new year in English, there are many topics you can discuss. You can talk about how you celebrated last year or describe traditions from your own culture. You can share personal experiences such as traveling, spending time with family, or relaxing at home. You can also talk about your plans and hopes for the future and explain why they are important to you. Using simple and common expressions will help your English sound more natural. People often say phrases like, "Happy New Year," "My New Year's resolution is," "Last year I learned," or "This year I hope to." These expressions help you talk about both the past and the future. You can share your feelings, describe challenges you faced, and talk about lessons you learned during the year. Another interesting topic is comparing New Year traditions from different countries. For example, in the United States, many people watch special New Year's programs on television and wait for the countdown to midnight. One famous tradition is the ball drop in Times Square in New York City. Every year, thousands of people gather there, and millions more watch on television. Everyone counts down together, and when the clock reaches midnight, the ball drops to welcome the new year. This moment is very exciting and full of energy. In Spain, there is a very different tradition. People eat 12 grapes at midnight, one grape for each month of the year. This tradition is believed to bring good luck and happiness for the coming year. These traditions show how different cultures celebrate the same moment in unique ways. Talking about these traditions can make your conversations more interesting and fun. You can ask others how they celebrate the new year in their country, and you can share your own customs and traditions. This exchange of ideas helps people learn from each other and keeps conversations lively and meaningful. Now, let's talk more about New Year's resolutions. As mentioned before, Resolutions are goals people set for themselves at the beginning of the year. These goals often focus on self-improvement. Common resolutions include exercising more, learning a new skill, saving money, traveling to new places, or improving work-life balance. Many people also choose goals related to health, education, or personal growth. When talking about resolutions in English, you can use simple sentences like, I want to improve my English this year, or I plan to read more books. You can also explain why your goals are important to you. For example, you might say that learning English helps you communicate better, or that reading books helps you relax and gain new knowledge. Sharing reasons makes your conversation deeper and more meaningful. Finally, the new year is also a great time to think about the future. People enjoy sharing their dreams, hopes, and plans for the coming year. You can say things like, I hope to travel more this year, or I am excited about starting something new. Talking about the future gives people hope and motivation. The new year gives us many chances to talk, share, and connect with others using simple and meaningful English. By practicing these topics, you will become more confident and comfortable speaking English. Keep practicing, stay positive, and enjoy learning every day. These expressions help make your English sound natural, clear, and confident. You can also ask other people about their plans by using simple questions like, what are your plans for this year? Or what do you hope to achieve in the next 12 months? Asking questions is very important because it encourages conversation and helps it continue smoothly. When you ask questions, you show interest in the other person, and this makes communication more friendly and enjoyable. Talking about the new year is a great way to practice English while connecting with others in a meaningful way. It is also very interesting to include cultural elements when talking about the new year. Every country has its own special way of celebrating. These traditions often show the history, beliefs, and values of different cultures. When you talk about them in English, you learn new words and expressions, and your conversation becomes more interesting and informative. For example, in Japan, many people visit shrines or temples at the beginning of the new year. They go there to pray for good health, happiness, and success. Families often go together, and the atmosphere is calm, peaceful, and respectful. People take time to reflect and start the year with positive thoughts. In Scotland, there is a famous New Year tradition called Hogmanay. This celebration includes singing, dancing, and spending time with friends, family, and neighbors. People welcome the new year with music, joy, and a strong sense of community. This tradition shows how important togetherness and friendship are in Scottish culture. When talking about these traditions in English, you can use simple sentences such as, in my country, people celebrate the new year by, or, a unique new year tradition in my culture is. Sharing cultural details helps others understand your background and makes the conversation more engaging and enjoyable. You can also talk about specific New Year events you have experienced. For example, you might describe a party you attended, a family gathering, or a trip you took during the holiday season. Talking about real experiences makes your English sound more natural and confident. Using descriptive language is very helpful when sharing experiences. For instance, you can say, last New Year's Eve, I attended a big party in the city center. The place was full of people, the music was loud, and the fireworks were beautiful. Or you can say, I spent New Year's Day at home with my family. We cooked a special meal, talked together, and shared memories from the past year. Sentences like these help listeners imagine the moment and enjoy your story. New Year's resolutions are also a popular topic to talk about in more detail. You can explain why you chose a certain resolution, what steps you plan to take, and what challenges you expect. For example, you can say, I want to improve my English fluency this year. I plan to study every day, watch movies in English, and practice speaking with my friends. I know it may be difficult sometimes, but I am determined to continue. Using this structure helps you clearly express your goals and intentions. It also shows that you are serious about your plans. At the same time, it helps you practice future tense and vocabulary related to planning, effort, and determination. These are very useful skills when speaking English. Another good way to talk about the new year is by sharing your emotions and personal feelings. The new year often brings hope, excitement, and motivation. Some people feel happy and confident, while others feel calm, thoughtful, or even a little nervous. You can talk about how the new year makes you feel and explain why. Sharing emotions creates a deeper connection with others and makes conversations more meaningful. For example, you can say, "I feel excited about the opportunities this year may bring," or "Sometimes I feel nervous about the future, but I try to stay positive." Talking about emotions helps you express yourself honestly and clearly. At the beginning of a new year, many people feel a mix of emotions. Some feel hopeful about new opportunities, while others may feel unsure about what the future holds. These feelings are completely normal. When you share them, you help others understand you better, and they may feel comfortable sharing their own feelings too. Storytelling is another excellent way to talk about the new year. Stories help you share experiences in an interesting and memorable way. You can tell stories about past celebrations, challenges you faced, or goals you achieved. For example, you might say, "Last New Year, I decided to learn a new language. It was difficult at first, but I practiced every day. Slowly, I improved, and by the end of the year, I could have simple conversations. This made me feel proud of myself." Telling stories like this helps you practice past tense and descriptive vocabulary. It also keeps your listener interested, because stories are easier to remember than simple facts. Storytelling allows you to talk not only about what happened, but also about how you felt during that time. Talking about New Year traditions also gives you a chance to compare experiences. You can compare how New Year celebrations are different in various countries, or how they have changed in your own life over time. For example, you can say, "When I was a child, we celebrated the New Year quietly at home with family. Now, I enjoy going to large gatherings with friends." This shows change, growth, and personal development. Overall, talking about New Year traditions, experiences, goals, emotions, and stories is a wonderful way to improve your English. It helps you practice clear communication while sharing meaningful parts of your life with others. You can also compare New Year traditions between different countries. For example, you can say, "In my country, people traditionally eat a special meal on New Year's Day, while in other countries, fireworks are the main part of the celebration." Making comparisons like this helps your English sound more natural. It also allows you to practice slightly more advanced grammar in a simple and clear way. Another useful topic is talking about future plans, not only New Year's resolutions. You can discuss plans related to travel, education, hobbies, work, or personal development. For example, you can say, "I am planning to visit new cities this year," or "I want to spend more time reading and learning new skills." These sentences help you practice the future tense and show ambition, motivation, and positive thinking. Talking about emotions, stories, traditions, comparisons, and future plans gives you many opportunities to practice English. The new year is a perfect topic because it connects the past, the present, and the future. By speaking about it using simple and clear language, you can improve your English while sharing meaningful parts of your life with others. Asking questions is an important part of any good conversation. When talking about the new year, you can ask questions such as, "What are your plans for personal growth this year?" Or, "Do you have any exciting travel plans?" Asking questions like these helps create interactive and meaningful discussions. It shows that you are interested in the other person and encourages them to share their thoughts and experiences. New Year conversations often include expressing gratitude. Gratitude means being thankful for the good things in your life. You can talk about what you are grateful for from the past year using simple sentences. For example, you can say, I am grateful for my family and friends who supported me last year, or I appreciate the opportunities one had to learn and grow. Expressing gratitude helps you use positive language and makes conversations warmer and more friendly. Talking about gratitude also shows emotional awareness. It allows you to connect with others on a deeper level and share positive experiences. When people talk about what they are thankful for, conversations often become more meaningful and pleasant. Another important part of New Year discussions is setting realistic goals and talking about strategies. Instead of only saying what you want to achieve, you can explain how you plan to achieve it. You can talk about the steps you will take, the time you will need, and the resources you might use. For example, you can say, I plan to improve my writing skills this year. I will practice every week, read English articles, and ask a mentor for feedback. Conversations like this are very helpful for practicing future tense and planning language. They also encourage practical discussions about personal development and self-improvement. Celebrating achievements from the previous year is just as important as setting new goals. You can reflect on your successes and talk about how they made you feel. For example, you can say, I am proud that I completed a challenging project at work, or I achieved my fitness goals last year, and it made me feel confident and motivated. These sentences help you practice past tense and descriptive language. Celebrating achievements gives your conversation a positive tone. It also encourages others to share their own successes. When people talk about what they achieved, they often feel motivated and appreciated, which makes the discussion more enjoyable. You can also talk about challenges and lessons learned from the past year. Sharing difficulties shows maturity and self-reflection. It helps others understand your journey and may inspire them as well. For example, you can say, last year, I faced challenges in managing my time, but I learned how to plan better, or I struggled with staying consistent, but I learned the importance of discipline. Talking about challenges is not about complaining. It is about learning, improving, and growing. When you share what you learned, the conversation becomes more honest and meaningful. Overall, New Year conversations are an excellent way to practice English while talking about goals, gratitude, achievements, challenges, and personal growth in a simple and clear way. Many people find time management to be a common challenge. When talking about the past year, you can say, last year, I had difficulty managing my time effectively. I learned the importance of prioritizing tasks and staying organized. This helps you practice longer sentences and past tense. Sharing lessons learned during the year makes your English sound more thoughtful and expressive. It shows that you are reflecting on your experiences and growing as a person. When people share lessons, conversations become deeper and more interesting. The new year is also a good time to talk about community and social involvement. Many people think about how they can help others or give back to society. You can talk about plans to volunteer, support local organizations, or take part in community activities. For example, you can say, I want to volunteer at a local charity this year, or I plan to participate in community events and help organize activities. These sentences help you practice future tense and show care, kindness, and responsibility toward others. Talking about these topics helps you improve your English while also sharing positive values and meaningful ideas. Talking about responsibility and community is especially useful for more advanced learners because it helps expand vocabulary related to teamwork, helping others, and supporting society. It also shows that you're aware of the world beyond your personal goals. These topics make your English sound thoughtful and mature. Another natural topic in New Year conversations is celebrating with friends and family. You can describe how you plan to spend New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. For example, you can say, I will spend New Year's Eve with my friends, and we are planning a small gathering at my house or my family, and I will cook traditional dishes and watch fireworks together. These sentences help you practice future tense, sequencing ideas, and descriptive language. Talking about celebrations makes your English sound lively and relatable. It allows listeners to imagine your plans and feel connected to your experiences. Simple details about food, people, and activities make your conversation warmer and more enjoyable. Personal growth and self-development are also important New Year topics. You can talk about skills you want to improve, habits you want to build, and changes you want to make in your daily life. For example, you can say, "This year, I want to focus on improving my public speaking skills. I will join a local speaking club and practice giving presentations every week." Explaining your plans in detail shows commitment and motivation. Talking this way also helps you practice useful language skills, such as future tense, sequencing words like first, then, and finally, and conditional expressions like if and when. These skills are very important for clear and effective communication. Overall, discussing challenges, lessons, community involvement, celebrations, and personal growth makes New Year conversations rich and meaningful. By speaking in simple and clear English, you can express your thoughts confidently while improving your language skills and connecting with others in a positive way. It is also helpful to talk about how your New Year goals connect to your long-term vision. A long-term vision means what you want for your future over many years. When you explain this connection, your English sounds more thoughtful and organized. For example, you can say, "Learning a new language this year will help me in my career and allow me to communicate with people from different countries." This type of sentence helps you practice connecting ideas and giving reasons clearly. When speaking with others, you can ask deeper questions such as, "How do your goals this year connect to your long-term plans?" Questions like this encourage reflection and deeper thinking. They also lead to more meaningful conversations instead of short and simple answers. Talking about New Year traditions is another great way to expand your vocabulary and cultural knowledge. Different countries have different customs that make the New Year special. In some countries, people clean their houses carefully before the new year begins. This cleaning is a symbol of starting fresh and removing bad energy from the past year. In other countries, people exchange gifts, write letters, or send messages to express gratitude and good wishes for the coming year. You can describe traditions by saying, "In my country, it is traditional to clean the house and prepare special food for the new year." You can also explain the meaning by saying that the tradition represents new beginnings and good luck. Using descriptive language like this makes your English sound more natural and informative. When discussing New Year's resolutions, it is helpful to talk about possible challenges and how you plan to overcome them. This makes your conversation realistic and relatable. For example, you can say, "I want to exercise more this year, but I know it will be difficult because of my busy schedule. To stay consistent, I plan to wake up early and exercise for 30 minutes every morning." This type of explanation helps you practice future tense and conditional sentences in an easy and natural way. Talking about challenges and solutions also shows honesty and self-awareness. Many people face similar difficulties, so these conversations often create understanding and connection. Reflecting on the past year is another important part of New Year discussions. Reflection includes talking about achievements, lessons learned, and important experiences. For example, you can say, "Last year, I worked on a very challenging project. At first, I felt overwhelmed, but I organized my tasks, asked for help when I needed it, and finished the project successfully." You can then explain what you learned by saying that the experience taught you patience, teamwork, and problem-solving. Using past tense and descriptive words helps your English sound clear and confident. It also allows you to explain not only what happened, but how you felt and what you learned. Sharing reflections like this makes conversations deeper and more meaningful. Overall, talking about goals, traditions, challenges, celebrations, and reflections gives you many opportunities to practice English. The new year is a perfect topic because it connects the past, the present, and the future. By using simple language and clear ideas, you can express yourself confidently while improving your English and building stronger, more meaningful conversations with others. Talking about the new year gives you many chances to practice English in interesting and natural ways. Using descriptive words, personal experiences, and longer sentences helps you communicate clearly and sound more confident and advanced at the same time. One very important topic to talk about during the new year is personal experiences. Talking about your own life helps you practice idiomatic expressions and phrasal verbs, which are very common in everyday English. For example, you can say, "I look forward to the new year because it gives me a chance to start fresh," or, "This year, I decided to take on new challenges and step out of my comfort zone." Expressions like "start fresh" and "step out of my comfort zone" make your English sound natural and help you explain ideas about change, growth, and self-improvement. Another interesting way to talk about the new year is by discussing celebrations around the world. Every country has its own traditions, and learning about them helps you expand your vocabulary and cultural knowledge. For example, in Brazil, many people celebrate the new year on the beach. They enjoy fireworks and often wear white clothes to symbolize peace and new beginnings. In Denmark, there is a fun tradition where people jump off chairs at midnight to bring good luck for the coming year. You can share these traditions in English and practice making comparisons. For instance, you can say, "In my country, people usually celebrate quietly at home, whereas in Brazil, New Year celebrations are colorful, lively, and full of energy." Making comparisons like this helps your English sound richer and more fluent, and it allows you to explain different cultural perspectives clearly. Talking about hopes and expectations for the new year is another useful topic. This helps you practice future tense and conditional sentences. For example, you can say, "I hope this year will bring new opportunities for growth. If I work hard and stay focused, I believe I will achieve my goals." You can also ask questions such as, "What are your hopes for this year?" or "What will you do differently this year to improve yourself?" Asking questions encourages interaction and helps conversations feel natural and meaningful. Social connections and relationships are also very important during the new year. Many people use this time to reconnect with family members or friends they have not seen for a long time. You can describe your plans by saying, "During the New Year holidays, I plan to visit my grandparents and spend time with them," or "I will meet friends I have not seen in months and celebrate together." Talking about relationships allows you to practice future tense, sequencing words like first and then, and descriptive language. It also makes your English sound warm and relatable. Overall, discussing personal experiences, cultural traditions, hopes for the future, and social connections gives you many ways to practice English. You can naturally use idioms, phrasal verbs, comparisons, and longer sentences while speaking clearly and confidently. The new year is a perfect topic because it combines reflection on the past, plans for the future, and meaningful interactions with others. During the new year, many people enjoy spending time with family. For example, you can say, "I will visit my grandparents and spend quality time with my cousins. We will share stories and enjoy traditional meals together." Using descriptive words, future tense, and vocabulary related to family and social activities makes your English lively and easy to understand. It also helps listeners imagine your experiences and feel connected to what you are saying. When talking about New Year plans, it is helpful to include details about time, place, and people. For example, you can say, "I am planning a small gathering with friends at my house on New Year's Eve. We will cook dinner together, play games, and watch the fireworks outside. Adding specific details helps you practice precise language, sequencing words like first, then, and finally, and descriptive vocabulary. These skills are very useful for more advanced English conversations. New Year conversations often include reflection on personal habits and routines. You can explain what you want to change or improve in the coming year. For instance, you can say, "This year, I want to improve my daily habits. I plan to wake up earlier, exercise regularly, and spend more time reading and learning new skills." Talking about habits helps you practice future tense, adverbs of frequency, and sequences of actions. You can also ask your conversation partner questions like, "What new habits are you planning to develop this year?" Asking questions keeps the conversation flowing and makes it more interactive. Finally, expressing emotions and expectations is an important part of talking about the new year. You can share how you feel about the year ahead. For example, you can say, "I feel optimistic about the coming year because I have set clear goals and made a plan to achieve them," or "Sometimes I feel nervous about new challenges, but I remind myself that growth comes from facing difficulties." By talking about emotions, experiences, traditions, and plans in simple and clear English, you can improve your language skills while sharing meaningful parts of your life and connecting with others in a positive and engaging way. Talking about emotions helps learners expand their vocabulary for expressing feelings. It also makes conversations more personal and engaging because people can connect with your emotions. When you share how you feel, others often feel more comfortable sharing their own feelings too. Reflecting on achievements and progress from the previous year is also very useful. You can talk about what you accomplished and how it made you feel. For example, you can say, "Last year, I learned a new language. At first, it was difficult, but I practiced every day and slowly improved. By the end of the year, I could have basic conversations, and this made me feel proud of my progress." Sharing achievements like this helps you practice past tense, descriptive vocabulary, and longer sentences. Talking about achievements also creates a positive tone in conversation. It can inspire others to share their own successes and feel motivated. When people talk about progress, conversations often become encouraging and supportive. Overall, discussing family, habits, emotions, and past achievements helps you practice many important parts of English. You can use past tense, future tense, sequencing words like first, then, and finally, descriptive language, and vocabulary for feelings and daily routines. The new year is a perfect topic because it connects reflection on the past with plans for the future and meaningful interaction with others. By expressing your ideas clearly and simply, you improve your English while sharing personal experiences and building stronger connections with people. By the end of the year, many people feel proud when they see the progress they have made. For example, you can say, "By the end of the year, I could have basic conversations confidently." Using past tense, sequencing words, and descriptive vocabulary makes your storytelling more organized and more advanced. Sharing personal stories makes conversations more interesting and shows what you have learned along the way. Another great way to engage in New Year conversations is by talking about professional goals and career plans. For example, you can say, "This year, I plan to improve my professional skills. I will attend workshops, read books related to my field, and network with colleagues. My goal is to earn a promotion by the end of the year." Talking about career plans allows learners to practice future tense, conditional sentences, and vocabulary related to work and personal development. It also shows motivation, ambition, and clear direction. You can also talk about personal development by discussing new hobbies or skills you want to learn. For instance, you can say, "This year, I want to learn how to play the guitar. I have enrolled in classes, and I will practice every day for at least 30 minutes." Talking about hobbies and learning plans helps you practice expressions related to time, frequency, and personal interests. You can encourage interaction by asking your conversation partner, "Do you have any hobbies or skills you want to learn this year?" This helps keep the conversation active and engaging. New Year celebrations are another excellent topic. You can share memorable experiences to make your conversation lively and interesting. For example, you might say, "Last New Year, I traveled to a new city and experienced local traditions. I attended a street festival, tried traditional food, and watched fireworks with local people. It was an unforgettable experience." Using past tense, descriptive language, and sequencing words helps you tell clear and enjoyable stories. When discussing future plans, it is helpful to mention possible challenges and the strategies you will use to reach your goals. For example, you can say, "I want to save money this year. To do this, I will create a monthly budget, track my expenses, and avoid unnecessary purchases." Talking about strategies helps learners practice future tense, conditional sentences, and vocabulary related to planning, problem solving, and finance. These discussions feel realistic and useful because many people share similar goals and challenges. Overall, talking about past achievements, career goals, personal hobbies, memorable experiences, and future strategies gives you many chances to practice English. You can naturally use past tense, future tense, sequencing words, descriptive vocabulary, and conditional sentences. At the same time, these topics help you connect with others, share meaningful stories, and make conversations more engaging. The new year is a perfect topic because it brings together the past, the present, and the future in one meaningful conversation. The new year is a special topic because it combines reflection on the past, hopes for the future, and interactive conversations with others. By expressing your thoughts clearly and using simple language, you can improve your English while sharing your experiences in a natural and confident way. Another important part of New Year conversations is talking about social connections and relationships. Many people use the new year as a chance to strengthen relationships, apologize for past misunderstandings, or reconnect with friends and family. For example, you can say, "I plan to visit old friends this year and catch up on their lives," or "I want to spend more quality time with my family and build stronger bonds." These sentences help you practice future tense and vocabulary related to social interactions. At the same time, they show care, kindness, and emotional awareness. It is also interesting to talk about unique New Year traditions in different cultures. Every country has its own customs, and learning about them makes conversations more engaging. For example, in Scotland, there is a tradition called Hogmanay, where people sing a song called Auld Lang Syne at midnight. In Japan, families ring temple bells 108 times to symbolize cleaning away past mistakes and welcoming a fresh start. You can talk about these traditions by saying, "In my country, we usually celebrate quietly at home, but I find traditions in other countries very fascinating," or "I enjoy learning about how different cultures welcome the new year because it teaches me new customs and ideas." Talking about traditions from different countries helps you expand your vocabulary, use descriptive language, and practice comparisons. For example, you can say, "In my country, people celebrate quietly at home, whereas in Japan, celebrations are more symbolic and ritual-based." Comparisons like this make your English sound richer and allow you to express different perspectives clearly. Discussing future hopes and goals is another important part of New Year conversations. People often share their dreams, expectations, and plans for the year ahead. You can say, "I hope to improve my health this year by eating better and exercising regularly," or "I am excited about learning new skills and gaining more knowledge." These sentences help you practice future tense and expressions of expectation while talking about personal growth. You can also ask your conversation partner questions such as, "What are your hopes for this year?" or "What achievements are you aiming for?" Asking questions encourages interaction and makes the conversation more meaningful and balanced. Talking about social relationships, cultural traditions, and future hopes gives you many opportunities to use English naturally. You can practice future tense, descriptive vocabulary, and comparative language while reflecting on your own experiences and learning from others. These conversations are not only helpful for practicing grammar and vocabulary, but they also help you connect with people on a personal level. Overall, New Year conversations can include social connections, cultural traditions, personal reflections, and future plans. By using simple and clear English and adding details, you can make your conversations lively and relatable. You can describe your own experiences, ask thoughtful questions, and compare traditions from around the world. This allows you to practice many English skills while sharing meaningful stories and building positive connections. Talking about New Year's resolutions in detail is especially useful for learning English. You can explain why you made a resolution, the steps you will take, and how you will measure your progress. For example, you might say, "This year, I want to improve my time management skills. I will create a daily schedule, set priorities for each task, and review my progress at the end of each week." Explaining resolutions in this way helps you practice future tense, conditional sentences, and vocabulary related to organization and personal development. Reflecting on the past year is another important topic. You can talk about your achievements, challenges, and lessons learned. For example, you could say, "Last year, I faced challenges at work that tested my patience and problem-solving skills. By learning from my mistakes and staying calm, I grew both professionally and personally." Using past tense and descriptive language helps you tell clear and thoughtful stories. Sharing reflections shows self-awareness and encourages deeper conversations. When people talk honestly about what they learned, conversations become more meaningful. Talking about memorable New Year celebrations is another great way to make conversations lively. You can describe parties, family gatherings, or trips. For example, you can say, "Last New Year, I attended a large festival in the city center. The atmosphere was full of music, dancing, and fireworks lighting up the sky. I enjoyed meeting new people and learning about different traditions." Using descriptive storytelling helps you practice past tense, sequencing words like first, then, and finally, and rich vocabulary. It also keeps your listener interested and makes your English sound expressive and confident. Overall, talking about the new year gives you many chances to practice English in a natural, enjoyable, and meaningful way. Expressing emotions during New Year conversations is very important. At the beginning of a new year, many people feel a mix of emotions such as excitement, hope, happiness, and sometimes nervousness or anxiety. These feelings are natural because a new year often brings new plans, new goals, and new challenges. You can say, "I feel optimistic about the new year because I've planned my goals carefully and I am ready to face challenges." Or, "Sometimes I feel nervous about starting new projects, but I remind myself that growth comes from facing difficulties." Talking about emotions helps learners expand their vocabulary for feelings. It also makes conversations more personal and relatable. When you share how you feel, people understand you better and connect with you on a deeper level. Expressing emotions such as hope, excitement, worry, or happiness makes your English sound more natural and expressive. New Year conversations give learners many opportunities to practice English. When you talk about the previous year, you use the past tense. When you discuss goals and plans, you use the future tense. You can also use sequencing words like first, then, and finally to organize your ideas and descriptive vocabulary to make your stories more interesting. These conversations are helpful not only for learning grammar and vocabulary, but also for building confidence and improving communication skills. The new year is a perfect topic because it includes reflections on the past, hopes for the future, personal experiences, and meaningful interactions with family and friends. By explaining your resolutions clearly, sharing your experiences, describing celebrations, and expressing your feelings, you can practice many English skills at the same time. These conversations allow you to speak in a detailed, thoughtful, and natural way. Sharing experiences about New Year celebrations is another great way to practice English. You can describe what you did on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. For example, you might say, on New Year's Eve, I cooked a special dinner for my family. We shared stories from the past year, watched fireworks from the balcony, and played games together. The evening was full of laughter and joy. Using clear descriptions, chronological order, and vivid words helps you tell your story in a way that is easy to understand and enjoyable to listen to. Talking about personal development and future plans is also very useful. You can say, this year, I plan to spend more time learning new skills. I will read books, take online courses, and practice regularly to improve my knowledge. Discussing personal development helps learners practice future tense, sequencing words, and expressions related to motivation and ambition. You can also ask questions such as, what new skills do you want to develop this year? Asking questions encourages interaction and makes conversations more engaging and two-sided. Discussing challenges and solutions is another important topic. For example, you can say, I want to wake up earlier and be more productive, but I know it will be difficult at first. Then you can explain your plan by saying, to succeed, I will set an alarm, create a morning routine, and track my progress every week. Talking about challenges and strategies helps learners practice conditional sentences, problem-solving vocabulary, and realistic conversations. Talking about achievements and lessons learned from the past year is also valuable. You can say, last year, I completed a challenging project at school. At first, I felt overwhelmed, but I organized my tasks, asked for help when needed, and finished the project successfully. You can also explain what you learned, such as patience, planning, and persistence. Sharing lessons shows self-awareness and encourages deeper conversations. Work-related topics are also useful. For example, you can say, last year, I completed a difficult project at work. It required long hours and careful planning, but I achieved my goal. Talking about work achievements helps you practice professional vocabulary and reflect on your progress. Overall, by talking about emotions, celebrations, personal development, challenges, and achievements, you can practice many aspects of English at once. Use past tense for experiences, future tense for plans, sequencing words to organize ideas, and descriptive language to make stories engaging. Asking questions also helps create meaningful dialogue. Talking about the new year is an excellent way to combine reflections on the past, hopes for the future, and personal experiences. It helps learners practice English in a practical, expressive, and confident way while connecting with others and sharing meaningful stories. Talking about teamwork and shared experiences is very helpful for learning English. When you describe projects or activities you completed with others, you can practice using the past tense, descriptive words, and longer sentences. This helps you tell your story in more detail and speak with more confidence. Sharing teamwork experiences also shows cooperation, responsibility, and communication skills, which makes conversations more meaningful. Another interesting topic for New Year conversations is social and community involvement. Many people use the new year as a chance to help others and give back to society. For example, you can say, this year, I plan to volunteer at a local charity and participate in community events. You can also add, Helping others will give me a sense of fulfillment and allow me to contribute positively to society. Talking about social activities helps learners practice the future tense, vocabulary related to responsibility, and ways to express personal values and goals. These topics show that you are thoughtful and socially aware. It is also exciting to talk about New Year celebrations in different countries. Every culture has its own unique traditions. For example, in China, people celebrate the Lunar New Year with family gatherings, dragon dances, and fireworks. In Mexico, people eat 12 grapes at midnight, one for each month of the year, to bring good luck. You can say, I find international New Year traditions fascinating because they reflect different cultural values, or learning about celebrations in other countries inspires me to try new experiences. Discussing global traditions helps expand vocabulary, practice comparisons, and talk about culture in English. It also makes conversations more interesting because everyone can share traditions from their own country. Talking about emotions and expectations for the new year is very important. Many people feel hope, excitement, and sometimes worry about what the year will bring. You can say, I feel hopeful because I have a clear plan for achieving my goals, or I feel excited about new opportunities, even though I know there will be challenges. Expressing feelings helps learners practice adjectives, adverbs, and longer sentence structures. It also makes conversations more personal and relatable. Discussing personal changes and growth is another useful topic. You can say, this year, I want to improve my habits and learn new skills. I plan to wake up earlier, read more, and practice English every day. Talking about growth allows learners to use the future tense, sequencing words like first, then, and finally, and expressions related to motivation and planning. You can also ask questions such as, what changes do you want to make this year? Or what new skills do you hope to learn? Asking questions encourages two-way conversations and keeps discussions active. By talking about achievements, social involvement, international traditions, emotions, and personal growth, learners can practice many areas of English at the same time. You use the past tense to describe previous experiences, the future tense to talk about goals, descriptive words to make stories interesting, and comparative sentences to explain differences between cultures. These skills help conversations flow naturally and confidently. Talking about personal growth over time is also very helpful. For example, you can say, over the past few years, I have become more disciplined and focused on my priorities. This year, I want to continue improving by setting higher goals. Reflecting like this helps learners practice past tense, future tense, and comparisons while showing ambition and self-awareness. Describing New Year celebrations with friends and family is another great way to practice English. You might say, on New Year's Eve, I hosted a small party with my friends. First, we prepared food together. Then, we shared stories from the past year. Finally, we watched the fireworks. Using sequencing words and descriptive language improves storytelling and makes your English more lively and engaging. Another interesting topic is superstitions and beliefs related to the new year. Many cultures have traditions for good luck. For example, you can say, some people believe that eating certain foods at midnight brings prosperity, or, in my country, people wear specific colors for good fortune. Talking about these beliefs helps learners practice modal verbs, cultural vocabulary, and explanatory language. Sharing lessons learned from the previous year is very meaningful. You can say, last year, I learned the importance of time management and self-discipline. I realized that planning ahead and prioritizing tasks leads to better results. Reflecting on lessons helps learners practice complex sentences, past tense, and thoughtful expressions. It also shows maturity and encourages deeper conversations. Overall, talking about the new year is a perfect way to reflect on the past, plan for the future, and share meaningful experiences. By using simple and clear English, adding details, and expressing emotions and ideas honestly, learners can practice English in a natural, practical, and engaging way while connecting with others. Talking about plans for the future is another very important topic in New Year conversations. When you speak about your plans, you can practice using the future tense, conditional sentences, and vocabulary related to ambition and motivation. For example, you can say, "If I stay focused and work hard, I believe I will achieve my goals this year," or "I hope to improve my skills and learn new things in the coming months." These types of sentences help you explain your hopes clearly and confidently. You can also ask questions to make the conversation more interactive. Questions such as, "What are your hopes for this year?" or "Which goals are most important to you?" encourage the other person to share their thoughts and plans. Asking questions helps create a natural conversation and allows both people to participate actively. By combining reflections on personal growth, family celebrations, cultural traditions, lessons learned, and future hopes, learners can practice many parts of English at the same time. You use the past tense to talk about experiences, the future tense to talk about plans, descriptive words to make stories interesting, and conditional sentences to discuss possibilities. This combination helps learners connect with others in a natural and confident way. Talking about goals and plans for the new year is also a great way to reflect on what you want to achieve. You might say, "I hope to achieve my learning goals this year," or "I hope to travel and experience different cultures because it will broaden my perspective." Asking questions like, "What would you like to achieve this year if everything goes as planned?" encourages deeper thinking and meaningful discussion. Discussing goal-setting strategies is another useful part of New Year conversations. You can explain your goals clearly by talking about what you want to achieve, why it is important, and how you plan to reach it. For example, you can say, "I want to improve my writing skills this year because it will help me in my career. I plan to write every day, read English articles, and ask for feedback from my colleagues." This structure helps learners practice sequencing ideas and speaking logically. Motivation is also an important topic when talking about goals. Sometimes staying motivated can be difficult. You can say, "Sometimes it is hard to stay motivated, but I remind myself of the benefits and the progress I have already made." You can also explain that setting small goals makes the process easier and less stressful. Talking about motivation helps learners practice language related to perseverance, discipline, and determination. Storytelling makes New Year conversations more engaging and enjoyable. You can share memorable experiences from past years and explain what you learned from them. For example, you might say, 2 years ago, I traveled alone during the New Year holidays. At first, I felt nervous because it was my first solo trip. However, I met interesting people, learned about local traditions, and felt proud of myself. Storytelling helps you practice past tense, descriptive vocabulary, and sequencing words like first, then, and finally. Talking about New Year celebrations is another helpful topic. You can describe how you celebrated with your family or friends. For example, last New Year, I spent time with my family. We cooked traditional dishes, watched fireworks, and shared stories from the past year. Using descriptive language helps listeners imagine your experience and feel connected to your story. You can also compare celebrations in different countries. For instance, you might say, "In my country, people celebrate quietly at home, but in Brazil, people celebrate on the beach with fireworks and music." Making comparisons like this helps learners practice comparative sentences and expand cultural vocabulary. Talking about the new year also gives opportunities to use idioms and common expressions. For example, you can say, "The new year is a fresh start," or "I want to turn over a new leaf and build healthier habits." Idioms make your English sound more natural and expressive. Discussing personal challenges is another useful topic. You can explain difficulties and how you plan to overcome them. For example, I know improving my fitness will be difficult because I feel tired after work. To overcome this, I plan to exercise in the morning and track my progress every week. Talking about challenges helps learners practice problem-solving vocabulary and conditional sentences. Expressing emotions and expectations is also very important. You can say, I feel excited because I have set clear goals, or sometimes I feel anxious about the future, but I try to stay positive. Talking about feelings helps expand emotional vocabulary and makes conversations more personal and relatable. Finally, reflecting on the past year allows learners to talk about successes, challenges, and lessons learned. You might say, looking back at last year, I learned the importance of time management and teamwork. Reflection shows personal growth and helps learners practice past tense and descriptive language. Overall, talking about the new year is an excellent way to practice English. It allows learners to reflect on the past, plan for the future, share emotions, tell stories, and connect with others. By using simple and clear English, learners can improve their grammar, vocabulary, and confidence while having meaningful and enjoyable conversations. Talking about patience, resilience, and problem-solving skills is very helpful in New Year conversations. When you describe these qualities, your English sounds richer and more thoughtful. For example, you can explain how past experiences helped you become stronger and more confident. Using detailed descriptions like this makes conversations more meaningful and shows personal growth. Another important part of New Year discussions is talking about future plans. You can describe personal, social, or professional goals. For example, you can say, this year, I want to learn a new language. I will practice every day, watch English videos, and speak with friends to improve. You can also say, I plan to volunteer at a local charity and participate in community events. Talking about future plans helps learners practice the future tense, sequencing words and expressions of ambition. Asking questions makes conversations more interactive. You can ask questions such as, what new skills do you want to develop this year? Or, how do you plan to overcome challenges? These questions invite others to share their ideas and experiences, which makes the conversation more natural and engaging. Sharing memorable New Year experiences is another great way to improve your English. You can describe past celebrations in detail. For example, last New Year, I spent time with my family. We cooked traditional dishes, shared stories from the past year, and watched fireworks together. The evening was full of laughter and joy. Using past tense, descriptive words, and sequencing phrases helps improve storytelling and makes your English sound natural. Reflecting on the past year is also very useful for practicing English and thinking about personal growth. You can say, last year, I became more patient and organized. I learned how to manage my time better and focus on important tasks. Reflection helps learners practice past tense, longer sentences, and thoughtful language. You can also ask others, what lessons did you learn last year that will help you in the future? This encourages deeper and more meaningful conversations. Talking about New Year celebrations is another interesting topic. You can describe events, food, and family gatherings. For example, last New Year, my family hosted a dinner with relatives. We prepared traditional dishes, shared stories, and watched fireworks at midnight. The evening was joyful and meaningful because we spent quality time together. These details make your English sound lively and engaging. Discussing international New Year traditions also helps expand vocabulary and cultural knowledge. For instance, in Japan, people visit temples to pray for a good year. In Spain, people eat 12 grapes at midnight for good luck. You can say, I enjoy learning about New Year traditions in other countries because it helps me understand different cultures. Comparing traditions allows learners to practice descriptive and comparative language. Talking about personal habits and routines for the new year is another useful topic. You can say, I want to build a morning routine that includes exercise, reading, and planning my day. This routine will help me stay productive and motivated. Talking about habits helps learners practice adverbs of frequency, sequencing words, and daily activity vocabulary. You can ask others, what habits do you want to develop this year? New Year resolutions are especially important for English practice. You can explain your goals clearly and describe how you plan to achieve them. For example, I want to improve my English speaking this year. I will practice every day, watch English videos, and speak with friends. I know it will be challenging, but I am determined to stay consistent. This type of explanation helps learners practice future tense and expressions of determination. It is also useful to talk about challenges and solutions. You can say, I plan to exercise more this year, but I know it will be difficult because of my busy schedule. To succeed, I will wake up early, follow a plan, and track my progress every week. Talking about challenges makes conversations realistic and relatable while helping learners practice problem-solving language. Expressing emotions is another key part of New Year conversations. You can say, I feel excited because I have clear goals, or I feel nervous about starting new projects, but I remind myself that growth comes from facing challenges. Talking about emotions helps learners expand vocabulary for feelings and connect with others on a personal level. Finally, sharing memorable experiences and future goals makes conversations lively and interesting. You can say, last New Year, I traveled to a new city and experienced local traditions. It was unforgettable. You can also talk about future plans, such as learning new skills, volunteering, or spending more time with family. Using simple language, sequencing words, and clear ideas helps learners speak confidently. Overall, talking about the new year is a great way to practice English. It allows learners to reflect on the past, plan for the future, express emotions, compare cultures, and share meaningful experiences. By speaking clearly and simply, learners can improve their English while enjoying natural and engaging conversations. Talking about New Year topics helps improve storytelling, makes English sound more natural, and encourages meaningful conversations about personal growth and cultural experiences. When learners speak about the new year, they have many chances to practice grammar, vocabulary, and clear communication. One important topic is New Year resolutions. You can talk about what you want to improve and how you plan to do it. For example, you can say, one of my resolutions is to improve my English fluency. I plan to practice speaking every day, watch language videos, and talk with native speakers. I believe consistency is the key to success. Talking about resolutions helps learners practice future tense, conditional sentences, and expressions related to commitment and self-improvement. Another engaging topic is future experiences, such as travel plans. You can say, I hope to travel to new countries this year and learn about different cultures. Traveling will help me understand the world better and broaden my perspective. Sentences like this help learners practice future tense, expressions of hope, and vocabulary related to travel. You can also ask others, where would you like to travel this year? Asking questions encourages interaction and meaningful dialogue. Sharing personal growth experiences is another effective way to practice English. You can say, over the past year, I learned how to manage stress by practicing meditation and setting realistic goals. This year, I want to continue improving these skills and become more resilient. Talking about personal growth allows learners to use past tense, descriptive adjectives, and longer sentences while explaining strategies for self-improvement. Discussing social involvement and community contribution is also valuable. For example, you can say, I plan to volunteer at a local charity and take part in community projects this year. Helping others will give me a sense of purpose and fulfillment. These conversations help learners practice future tense, social vocabulary, and expressions of values and responsibility. Talking about memorable New Year experiences from the past is another great topic. You can describe past celebrations in detail. For example, 2 years ago, I traveled to a small village and experienced local traditions. I attended a festival, tried traditional food, and met friendly people. It was an unforgettable experience. Using past tense, descriptive language, and sequencing words like first, then, and finally improves storytelling and keeps conversations interesting. Combining reflections, resolutions, and future plans makes New Year conversations rich and interactive. You can ask questions such as, "What are your goals for this year?" or "What lessons from last year will help you in the future?" These questions encourage deeper thinking, longer answers, and natural discussion. You can also talk about professional goals and ambitions. For instance, this year, I want to grow professionally by learning new skills and taking on challenging projects. I also want to maintain a healthy work-life balance so I can stay productive and happy. Talking about ambitions helps learners practice future tense, modal verbs, and advanced planning vocabulary. Discussing challenges you expect in the new year is also helpful. You can say, "I know balancing work, learning, and personal life will be difficult. To manage this, I will create a weekly schedule, set priorities, and review my progress regularly." Talking about challenges helps learners practice conditional sentences and problem-solving language while sharing realistic plans. Using motivational language makes conversations stronger and more confident. For example, you can say, "This year, I am determined to take on new challenges and step out of my comfort zone. I will make the most of every opportunity." Motivational language helps learners practice strong verbs, expressions of determination, and positive thinking. Using idioms and expressions also makes English sound more natural. Common New Year idioms include turn over a new leaf, hit the ground running, and start the year on the right foot. These expressions add personality, confidence, and fluency to conversations. Overall, talking about the new year is an excellent way to practice English. It allows learners to reflect on the past, plan for the future, express emotions, share experiences, and connect with others. By using simple language, clear ideas, and detailed examples, learners can improve their storytelling skills, sound more natural, and enjoy meaningful and confident conversations in English.